Work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, never stop. Now occasionally he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training hours a day, playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I give up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if sweatwork's what I believe, rating's what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if sweatwork's what I believe, rating's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the absentness, daily practices, rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for ELO farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, never stop. Now occasionally he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training hours a day, playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I give up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if sweatwork's what I believe, rating's what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His Training plan is the first thing your eyes see, 'cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine did he packing? He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chap. Still, his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe. Ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the absentness, daily practices, rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really.
Oh, buddy. That was a... blowing it. Christ, blowing it all the time. Okay, so, turn on a light. And we got a beautiful graduation stream. Last week I was not here. I was playing in a tournament on that very day. Oh, it was a rough day for me. I still ended up having a reasonable tournament, but I could have had, the drama could have had a real beauty. Okay, so let's get into it. We got Baker. Bang. Baker looks like he just joined. Well, no, they joined in May. They got up to 304. I don't see a lot of work getting done, though, so who knows what's going on with Baker. We got some clubs, Baker? No clubs. We got any games, Baker? This still needs to say something. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Cry needs to get his little list out. One of the great things about the show is I can always check in on the site and kind of see little details. So here, for example, I wanted to say my games needs to show number of games. Excuse the pedantry here in this beautiful stream that I got, but I just got to note the small stuff. So, Baker, what do we want? We want to see some games from you, Bows. We want to see some work getting did. All right? So, we'll continue. We have Selwyn. Bang. Selwyn, oh, look at that. Joined very recently. Played a lot of games. And graduated to 4,500. Now, we're going to hope they got some games for us here. And we do. Beautiful stuff. Great. This looks great. And let's just begin here with, we don't have a clock time rating. We're going to go over here. We're going to mark this as reviewed. Now, I have a feeling we might go over here that I'm going to need to, I need to do my window captures, Bows. We need a window capture. Bang. There's one window capture. It's still a little, is it a little funky over there? And then we're going to go here. Bang. Looks reasonable enough. Okay. Now, one thing we want to say, someone just kind of newish to the program, but we want to say that when you take your PGN, that's the score, of whether you play chess com, lead chess, whatever, you should be noticing that the times are also there, the time stamps. So that way you can get yourself a time management rating, and I can see too what's going on with the times. All right, here we go. So, fine. Little weird to block your c-pawn, but I'm not saying anything bad about it. h6, weird. Now, one of the things we see, we're going to talk about this a lot probably, is we always see players at this level lose tempi in addition to losing material. So, castles, c6, a little weird. Queen d3. Now, I think h3 is a pretty simple move to play. But, make him decide, get the bishop or retreat square, the king aloof square, that kind of thing. a4, weird. I'm not entirely sure why I played this. I think I was just stuck. So one thing I like about your annotations is just writing that down. That's really good. Because you're going to want to have a better sense of just what to do in these kinds of positions. And a4 maybe is not the end of the world. Like I said, I liked h3. A little weird. And now he's going to pop you around a little bit. He's going to pop you around a little bit. And he's going to threaten something. And then he comes here. Fine. Double my pawns and queen size is in shambles. I think black has the positional advantage at the moment. Their pawn structure looks strong. I think you're doing fine. The knight on b4 looks a little bit like a tourist to me. I think you're doing okay. Good move. I don't like g5, by the way. Okay. Knight h4. The question, if this move is good or bad, is do you have a plan if they play e6 to get you out of knight f5? That's my big question. You need to play knight f5 now. That knight's on. This is what we call a trampoline. Tall called this a trampoline. Look at it. You're trampolining in. You're trampolining in, Bows. You're coming in. So definitely bring that knight in. We need to. c5. Finally, we get knight f5. cd4 and now bishop f6. It would be great, by the way, if I could see what the timestamps were here. Okay, because, this is a big decision. I'm not even sure bishop f6 is a mistake. But what we want to say is bishop d4 looks very strong as well as ed4. Knight g7 looks also strong. So in the annotations, we want more moves here. Check to the miserable king. Now they blow it. And you make a very nice move here, knight h6. Beautiful. The opponent gives up because they're totally frustrated. You should have continued the game. I suppose it could have gone like this. King h7. Queen takes. Pawn takes. And now we have a very important question. Can we rage black now? My instinct is yes, with queen h5. This is the kind of thing, though, that we need to put in our annotations. For example, boom, check to the miserable king, check to the miserable king, and checkmate. Okay, so Selwyn, welcome to the dojo. I really like you're playing all these games. These annotations look great. They're very simple and honest. Like, I'm not entirely sure why I played this. And the next level is for you to do some annotations, some variations, and some alternate, like, moves. So, for example, if you're analyzing the game, you're like, A4, I don't know why I did this. Well, just try to think about it a little bit after the fact. Be like, well, what should I have done? You know? Okay, well done, Selwyn. We'll see Selwyn again soon. And now we got Timba. Timber! All right, here's Timba. We're going to give Timba a follow. They also just joined. Aus Deutschland. Now, are those Timberland shoes? Is that how it happens? So I don't know. Let's just join. Let's see if they got some games for us. Boom, boom. Loads of games from Timba. All right. So we'll check out Lorelight and Timba playing over here. Do we got a time graph? Again, I have a feeling it's the same problem as the last game we looked at, where we didn't have the timestamps when the game was transferred. So just make sure. And I could describe the process in detail, but it's a little different with whether it's Chess.com or Elite Chess where you're doing it, or OTB. But we'll see. Generally, the players under 1,000 are playing online. OTB, obviously, you just have to write it manually, unless you're playing in a fancy tournament like I was this last weekend, where, the board records it automatically. Anyways, what am I trying to say? On Elite Chess, Chess.com, just make sure you got the timestamps. All right, so far so good. Okay, a little weird h3. Knight d4. Okay, so what are they doing? They lost a6 as a tempo. They lost knight d4 as a tempo. Your h3 is technically a tempo loss, but I suspect you've been so traumatized by bishop g4 stuff that you couldn't resist. Now, you are up in time. Good move, fine. Poor. Why is it poor? Because it's not developing. Fine. And look, you're just winning time all over the place. And you played knight d5, and although technically this loses a tempo, I think I'm okay with it because next move you can play c3. Good move. Boom, boom. And the point is, not only did you get rid of that stinky knight, but you developed your queen on f3. Bishop d5. E takes. What is black doing? They're not developing. They're not developing. What do they need to do? They need to play bishop e7. And this is a mistake. Again, I would really like to see the times because then I could, say, oh, did white just play queen e2 without thinking, for example? Because you got a great move here, bud. Bang, b4. And I would describe white's position as completely winning after b4 because you're going to start cracking him open before they develop. Cracking him open. For example, b4, bishop b7. I'm just trying to help the guy develop. Snip, snop, queen g3. And we're threatening two coconuts at the same time. Oscar Chess, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so queen e2. b4. Oh, no. At this time, I didn't know what to do. Engine says to play a4 instead. I suspect the engine says b4. Queen a5. Rook c1, and now we lost our coconut here with b5. Okay, this actually it's funny. Now you got the right move because you got to escape with a bishop. So b4, good. And then this is a weird thing where you didn't play cb4. Okay, d4. It's kind of an interesting move, I guess. Trying to open things up. Knight e4. What are they doing? They're not developing. They're not developing. Queen d3. Maybe interesting. Knight d2. I don't believe in that move. Now, rook fd1. What are they doing? They're not developing. Okay. Now, bare minimum, you could win this pawn now. You should win that pawn, bud. You should say, thank you very much. And the point is, when you win the pawn, it's not just the pawn, but then this guy's unstable. You have the c file, all this stuff. He just keeps giving you the pawn. Now, you're going for a cheapo. Black should play e4 now. Why? Because it's a tempo win. Queen g3. Okay. e4, finally. Now, it kills me that you didn't win this pawn back when you had the chance, because it's all up in your face. It's preventing the rook getting access. That looks like a blunder. So, definitely knight takes e4, blunder. h4, we're blundering all over the place. Again, we need the times will really help. All kinds of stuff is happening here. Black wins on time. Okay. 4th consecutive defeat in a 30-minute game for Timba. All right, Timba, look. The things we want are you to write down the times. You don't have to write them down, actually. You're playing a 30-minute game, the times will be there automatically. So we'll have that. So we'll be able to see the time problem. You're going to play a lot of opponents like this who make non-developing moves. We want to take advantage of those situations, right? And one of the key things to just realize is when they don't develop, and this is going to be a lot of your opponents for the next couple hundred points of your journey, they are going to give you opportunities like this where you just can blast them open before their king is safe, right? Okay, so that was Timba. Next up, we have drop pop. That's what we're going to call him, drop pop. What do we got? What's going on with drop pop? Oh, I made a minor mistake on my part. Let's go here. Boom, boom. Inaccuracy. All right, drop pop also joined pretty recently. You see in the lower cohorts here, we got a lot of people that are making progress just joining. That's fine. 586. It looks like maybe they made it and fell back down. 50 plus. I'm part of that club, bud. I'm part of that club. 164 people. And let's see what we got. We got one game played a month or so ago. So, it's not really an annotation. Let's see if we have an thing here. So here we have our first time graph of today's show. Actually, let me get in here. Let me make Jadub. I made a video about Gukesh's time management, so that's why this is a little different. Let's just make some Jadubs here. So, we want to say something obvious. Drop pop. You've been moving too fast. This whole thing where you memorized the fried liver attack, it would be so much more important if you could just slow it down. All right, so here we go. I'm going to breeze through this because there's not... Oh, crap, go back. There's not a lot of... There's not a lot of annotations here, so we're just going to kind of cruise through it. Queen e7, poor move. Knight g5, terrible move. Now, you are moving too fast, my friend. d3. You're obsessed with winning the f7 square. Why aren't we taking the bishop, bud? He gave you a piece. Take it. Take it, bud. Take that thing. You're moving too fast. d5, 35 seconds. You got to slow it down. Slow down. I don't understand any of these moves. You move too fast. Why not AB with the tempo on the queen? All right, so drop pop, listen up. It's very simple for your skill level to rise hundreds of points, okay? And that is just slow down. That's all you have to do, okay? All you have to do. Let's go back and look at it one more time. Boom. Playing way too fast, buddy. Way too fast. All right? That's why we created this thing. Once you submit more games, you'll get an average time management rating. That will tell, well, that's something actually, a tech project we got going on, but hopefully that's coming soon. In any case, you will see that this is just, it's killing your game if you don't use your time. All right? Okay, grad show. Pop, pop. Next up, we got Soul Driver. Soul Driver finally writes me something. I was beginning to think that no one was going to write me something, but here we go. Soul Driver says, very happy with the progress I've been able to make over the past month. The dojo curriculum has been excellent so far, and I'm always excited to see the new material available when I reach a new cohort. Let's just say the obvious, my friend. Soul Driver has graduated numerous times up here. The website has been a very engaging way to chart and plan training, with my surprise favorite feature being the heat map, which keeps me motivated to train every day to avoid breaking the streak. Outside of the dojo training plan, I've also been following Amon Hambleton's Building Habits series, which has been instructive in understanding principled moves and endgames at this level. It was originally my goal to reach 1,000 in chess comrap by the end of the year, but now I've set the goal at 1250. 1250, by the way, is about 1,000 dojo rating. I'm excited to continue the training plan and give it a shot. Shout out to David's video on the Greco and Endgame of e4, e5, knight f3, f6 from a couple cohorts back, which gave me an easy win against an opponent that made the same second move. All right, beautiful. Wow, got into chess November 24th, and now he's just flying. Flying. Look at that heat map, by the way. That's an incredible heat map. In fact, I think I might need a Jadoob over here. Let's do a Jadoob. Let's just bring it right there. Good. So, join the dojo, and it's just crushing progress. Already graduated. At some point, he's going to hit a, that line isn't going to go up as nicely, but right now it's going up nicely, very nicely, and maybe he can hit 1250. But he's going to hit his 1,000. There definitely needs to be a celebration when he hits the 1,000. Lifting heavy things. There we go. I swear to God, that's got only 32 members, but I see that club more than any. That is the one, my friends. If you want to make progress, you need to be joining Lifting Heavy Things. You need to be lifting heavy things. Games. Boom. All right, here we go. Let's go look at me versus opponent. This was fairly recent. Do we got times? We've got some times. Let's go check it out. So, could have been a little bit slower, but overall reasonable. Want to stress, one of the things we see in the 1,000 under 1,000 cohort is in general, even under 1,200, in general, people are getting a bunny. You rarely have a turtle over here, right? And that just means that players at this level aren't comfortable yet with deep thinking. So it's a skill that needs to be developed. All right, here we go. Mark reviewed. Scandinavian defense, fine. Fine. A little weird. But you are developing, so I'm not going to say anything bad. H3, fine. Boom, boom. Boom, look, you're doing great. You're doing great. Knight A5, a little weird because the knight seems misplaced there. Good move. I like bishop E2. C6. Now, is the knight hanging with B4? It looks hanging to me. Am I missing something? Rook D2. So, notice all the fancy stuff he's saying. And let's just say, at this level, winning games should be unfancy. It should be a very unfancy affair. B4. Bang! Knight's gone. So, d2. Now it's different. Now the knight could have plopped into c4, or it goes back to c6. And then that looks weird to me. Why are we getting so fancy? Why so fancy? He's taking our stuff. Queen a5 looks stronger. He goes back. CT. Okay, good. Now he's in a little trouble. Good move. Bishop e5. Okay. Bishop c6. Very nice. Boom. He missed that move. Nice move. I like that one too. Now rook d7 looks crushing. What does he do? Bishop g7. I really like rook d7 because you're going to separate him from a lot of his coconuts. That coconut and that coconut. All right. Boom, boom. Queen g4. I'm not sure what you're doing. You could have done rook d7. Poor. Now he's opening up his light squares. Good move. Okay. Bishop takes a8. Thank you very much. Knight e5. That doesn't help. Boom. Attack your knight, buddy. Good move. Simple chess. Now you're just up. Bishop c6 looks winning. Nice move. Check to the miserable king. There it is, bud. There it is. So good annotations. And the main critique is you're moving a little too fast. We'll highlight one actually situation here. Here in this position, even if you miss b4, it's still kind of an interesting question. Like, well, what should we do? What move should we play here? And so here you played 32 seconds, rook d2. If I didn't find b4, I would want to consider d5, for example, just opening up my bishops, that kind of thing. Okay, so well done. That was the Soul Driver. Go back to the grad show thing. Next up, we got Paul F. I've been doing this grad show for years. For years, I've been doing this thing. All right, 57-year-old dad of 4, granddad of 3. Dang, this guy got busy early. All right. So Paul F. has already graduated once before. 7:15, flying up. Looks good. Clubs, 50 plus, weekly calculation, adult improver. All right. Maybe also could be UK club. Or maybe there's a Hampshire. You could start your own Hampshire UK club. Maybe you'd be surprised to find other people there. All right, doing great. And let's see what we got here. We got one. Now, maybe I've already looked at this because he's graduated before. Let's just see. No, I haven't seen this one yet. So first thing, do we got a time? Yeah, look at this. All right, my friends. Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul. Let's listen to what Paul says here. This was my first official classical chess game, although for a long time I only played 30-minute games. So, the obvious thing we're going to say, this applies to so many players that you will also face, is people just moving too fast. You know, you barely used any time at all over here. Okay, so that's the most, whatever we say about the game is inconsequential compared to that, Paul. That is the thing you got to fix, all right? So here we go. Interesting. So now we're in a little trouble with e5. Our knight goes back. Okay, your opponent's hurting you here. Now you hang business with d5. Your opponent misses it, though. Because, and by the way, knight takes d5 isn't just a pawn. It's a big old fatty knight, right? So here you need to play bishop e6. You miss it? He misses it too. Queen e6. Okay, at least we're protecting our coconut now. Knight g5 looks a little hard to deal with. He plays that. Superficial. It's time to castle now here, Paul. We need to castle. Now, in this position, you know, you're under a little stress, so this is definitely a moment where we want to spend more than 30 seconds. Exclam. Good move by your opponent. And now we're toast. He comes back out. Now he's really messing with you, isn't he? Oh, it's gonna hurt. Now he could have played knight f4. I think knight f4 wins your queen. Knight d4 also looks painful, but okay, here we go. Boom, boom. Now let me just stress here: you could have also played queen h3, but at least kept the queens on. And here we're just completely crispy crittered here. Yeah. Hey, your opponent played a good game, right? Now, one of the things we want to say about, let's talk about openings for a second, because I think some people would be like, oh, he didn't know the Vienna, and that's why he got raged. No, because look, your opponent isn't seeing that this is hanging. He didn't see it. And then he makes superficial moves, and here you're actually back in the ball game after castles. Is it complicated stuff? Yeah, but you're in the ball game here. So the opening wasn't where it was at. It was because you moved too fast. He finds a nice shot with e6. We'll give him credit for that, though. All right, Paul. There it is. And now we're going to go back. Boom, boom, boom. We have America SB. And we're going to give them a follow here. They joined pretty recently. But I want to say, America SB, you are in the wrong cohort, okay? And I think maybe I know why. But like because 951 is not in the 900 cohorts or anything like that. So you should be in the 700 to 800 cohort. Okay? All right. We'll now continue to mange. I had an English friend years ago. We played chess together, studied chess together, and he liked to call dirty cats mangy moggies. Mangy moggies, that was one of his favorite things. So anyways, that's what mange brought back to me. All right, let's go look at mangy moggy. Chess Noob, eager to loom. Let's give them a follow. They have been working pretty good since joining. 8:15, I mean, really pretty flying up here. Pretty good. Stockholm. There we go. Look at that. And this is, by the way, this is the kind of local club that I really am hopeful this long-term works well for people. So, for example, imagine you're in Stockholm. You don't know, like especially, you don't know the chess scene or something. I'm sure there's some clubs out there in Stockholm. But once you have the Stockholm dojo and you realize, oh, I got 10 people, then you could start messaging them stuff and you could start maybe doing some training amongst each other. Might be really fun too. So I'm hoping, that eventually we start getting more and more local clubs like this. So for example, our guy, Paul, right, was in Hampshire, UK. You get a Hampshire club as an example. All right, do we got games from the Manji Magi? The Mange. The Mange. All right, let's look at the Mange. Do we got times? We do. All right. So as you see, like I said, people are going to generally be moving too fast here. However, this is definitely an improvement over the last couple time graphs we've seen. Okay. So, boom. So, first game with this longer time control. Fine. Good. Fine. Fine. Good. You're developing. This one, yeah, okay. And you actually get him into a little bit of a dirty trick here. So, boom, boom. Check to the miserable king. And now, to me, this is a very important piece to analyze here. He plays queen takes b2 in 2 seconds. But to me, the big questione would be what's going on with queen a5. So I don't know if we're even done yet. Maybe it could go b4 and a4. So we're threatening a5. So for example, if a6, I think he's roasted there with a5. So then we need to analyze a5. And I believe in white's position here, but it's not clear exactly what we do here for white, right? Okay, so maybe, by the way, I was about to say maybe a4 was clever, but then I noticed a6, b4, and he can hit us with that. These are the things that we want to be looking at. Now, by the way, also here, if knight b5 wins, as it does in the game after queen d6, then black, of course, should be playing c takes d6 here. All right, so here we go. Queen takes b2 looks like clearly white's going to be winning this. Check to the miserable king. Thank you very much. King e2, good move. Queen b3. I think that's reasonable. I think I like queen d2 a lot as well. Oh, that's a terrible move. When you're down in material, don't trade. h6, terrible, not losing time. Good move. Okay, good move. Poor move. Not doing anything. f4, good. Bishop c6. And now, I think you could have won a pawn with bishop a6. g3, poor, not doing anything. g6, okay. h4, h5. He gives you a pawn, but he comes back. Good move. That was big for allowing you to do that. He's just messing around. King e3, good move. Good move. Good. Check to the miserable king, good. Now you played rook a7. All right. Bad move. Snip. King e3. Okay, this is a technically winning endgame, but at this level, I want to say it's not easy. Even actually at my level, this isn't totally easy. I want to think about it some. Now, one of the things I want to stress is it might be good to think about it a little bit here. Okay, we don't want to move super fast. So this goes down, for example. And already I think if I'm black, I would be really interested in playing e5 to maybe get, say, this square going on. Now, does it work? I don't know, but that's what we are worried about. He doesn't. Now, if I was going to play that as black, the thing I would be worried about is what about rook c4? He comes back. Good move. I don't know about rook d4. Okay, 7. I like b5 too. We gotta push. Okay, good move actually. King d6, rook d2, very nice. Boom, boom, boom. King c4. Now we're still very close to like black drawing here. Okay, let's look back at this a second. And you say, this is the critical position in the game where I should have taken more time. No, nobody. There's been a lot of positions where you need to take more time. And king f4 doesn't, it's not super clear to me why king f4 is going to win. So, for example, let's say bishop d3. How are we going to separate this man from his coconuts? Okay? That's the question. I'm guessing maybe rook c7. Bang. Now let's get into your game. King d2, king c4. You played rook a5. And that seems like we're just losing time and opportunity. Now, I think maybe we are done here because of bishop d7, bishop b5. Good. So king f4, the reason this is winning is because we can cut the king. When we don't cut the king, though, I guess it's now a draw. By the way, I just want to stress, I've played these positions all my life, but I have to think about it a little bit. You know, I got to think about it a little bit. It's not just like boom, boom, boom. I got to think about it. Like, for example, I know this trick about separating a person from their coconut with the bishop d7, bishop b5 trick. Now, you played rook a5. I want to just stress, it's not, is it 100% for me? I think it is. We're close to getting our king to a3, but I don't think we're, no, but wait, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Yeah, this is the critical question. I think bishop c8 loses, by the way, to rook c7. This isn't super simple for the guy. No, it's not over yet. Hi, Gino. So this is what I'm talking about. This is a position that can be analyzed here. I believe black should be able to hold this, but we're still giving him the business. Rook a5, it's just giving him exactly what they want. Bishop b5, and now it's truly over. Okay, now, by the way, let me just stress, if I'm playing this, I'm going to still try to win this thing because I believe I'll be able to separate the man from his pawn, and then we are going to massage the king and the bishop because if they don't know what they're doing, I'm going to get that. I'm going to get it. Now, of course, you could also, if you hadn't lost faith, let's say rook a5, bishop d7, if you hadn't lost faith in your, what do we want to call it, in your business, then you go here, 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 and at least get the pawn back. And again, with that, you can massage people at this level. I would say, I don't trust people to defend this position until they're past 1800 in general. We can work them. Okay. So, well done. The man, it's got to be a little slower. All right, here we go. Grad show. Dr. Zugzwang Steiner. Decent run of classical games on Lichess, but a few in the round robin on Chess.com. Trying to avoid blunders. Yes, sir. There we go. You can see Dr. Zugzwang Steiner. This guy has been on the rage since joining the dojo. 826, we got some clubs. Chess steps, down under, chess dads and moms. Tell us where you are, Dr. Zugzwang. I guess he's down under. That, to me, though, is a little vague. That's what I'm talking about. I want a little look. That's fine to be in the down under, but we need a little specificity. Okay, then we got some games. Do we got some games? We got loads of games. This was played a little while back, so I might have already covered this one. Let's just see what we got. All right, I haven't done this one yet. We got some. Ooh, look at that, my friends. Look at that. So, one of the things, we talk about this every graduation show, is when you're playing people and you're rated around this level, you'll sometimes get players like this, where they're playing so fast that it's hard to psychologically not move fast ourselves, right? So you can see Dr. Zugzwang, he stopped thinking right around move 40. And his opponent was just completely done the whole time. Completely done. All right, so let's look. All right, so now blunder, d4. He talks about 95, d4. That's kind of a known trick, but it's a little bit GM level trick because it's not like it's going to win the game or anything. It just gives you a positional advantage, okay? So if you didn't know that trick, then we would want something like bishop c4, right? Now, let's say something obvious. You weren't thinking here. You're losing a coconut, and that's how people lose at this level, is their coconuts get taken. Okay. Poor, not developing. Okay. Fine. Now, here, maybe you can play chess this way, but the thing that black should be realizing is you're loosening yourself unnecessarily. So b3. That just helps him. I get it wasn't that easy. Now you got a couple interesting moves here. You talk about bishop g5. I think f4 might be kind of interesting. Bishop b3. Good moves. Good. Solid. And now that's what we call just a waste of time. Now, why are you wasting time? Because you don't know what to do. So, other moves would have been f4 to try to get at the dark square. So if he pushes past, you get this. Or maybe h3, intending f4 next. Skebix has a question. I was doing some puzzles, and the position was rook plus knight versus rook. Through some checks, the king is forced into Zugzwang and the rook is lost. But in a practical game, I don't have someone telling me you can win from this position. Is there a way to improve square control in my games? So, first of all, rook and knight versus rook. It's good to talk about because we had a position in the last game where it's potentially rook versus bishop, which in my experience, as I said, people up to 1800 will lose. Rook and knight is also a draw technically, but one where you can push. One of the things just to say is the thing about square control and the knight's a tricky piece, is just playing that out with the, let's say you don't know, you have no idea if rook and knight versus rook is winning. You play it out, you go over it, and you're going to find some stuff. Like at this level, for example, if they had rook and knight versus knight, we can guarantee that the person with the rook would at some point be lost because they would have hung some kind of trick, right? Okay, here we're hanging a tempo, bishop g5. He doesn't know what to do. As I said, h3, f4 made some sense. Okay. We still want f4. f4, by the way, we're talking to him a little bit, you know. Like f4, we're going to talk to him a little bit, you know. So, boom. That's just terrible. Thank you very much. f3, good move. Now, the safe move here is just to take on d7, but okay, you can do it that way. He trades everything off. He says check. Okay. h6. Queen e1. Now, if you want to trade everything off, you could do that with queen d4. Queen g3, going for a little dirty trick. f6. Okay, and he hangs a pawn. I think this is okay. Queen d6. All right, now it's his turn, right? Something that we should say, and you pointed out, well done, is that you could have actually snipped this coconut because you have a way back. Uh-oh. Now I'm getting a little nervous. Snip, snop, check to the miserable king. Uh-oh. Check to the miserable king. Check. Uh-oh. Why didn't we play queen g3 there? So black, by the way, I rushed it a little bit, but black could have done all kinds of other things. But of course, we should be playing queen g3 here. We have every right to say we've consolidated the position, right? We've done it. Check. By the way, let's just go back. Look, remember what I said? Remember what I said? These people ain't thinking at all, Bows. They're not thinking at all. Now, we want to stress, I say this, I've done this show for years. I see this a lot. Why did we create the time management rating? So that people could gain a sense of what's going on. They can measure this defect in their game. Can I just say, when we go back, I have to think about these positions. And these guys are playing as if it's all clear as day. It's not clear as day. G5, well, we should have talked about. Queen g2 takes, and black offers a draw. You're up a pawn, buddy. We're not doing any draws today. Okay. Now, technically, this is a draw. However, you have every right to push this position. That's not pushing, though, if you don't think about it. So let's just say king e5 was the correctamundo move, and it is putting our opponent in a little bit of stress about how, if at all, they defend like king d6. And if they go this way, well, then maybe we give them a little check and ask them which way they want to go. King here. Oh, then I'm going to come over. Looks like I'm going to win that pawn. If I win that coconut, my friends, that's it. That's it. Okay, so a3, loss of time. You need to play king e5 pronto. He gets now the light square blockade, and now it's very difficult. Now, that's not what we want b4 because now we can't even get a pass pawn. Why are we hanging our pawns, bud? Why are we hanging the pawns? Now, if I'm black, I'd be hopeful maybe to even beat you or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Bishop e8 and the game is wrong. I don't understand this at all. So what about black playing here? Well, maybe not so simple for a pimple anymore. Right? Technically, I still think this is going to be drawn, but, you know, if that guy's moving, if you're moving too fast, I'm going to crack you. I'm going to find a way to promote this thing and then maybe do a little love voting over there. It's technically a draw, but he doesn't know how to do it. All right. Okay, so, boom. Next up, you guys. We got to move a little slower. I did a whole series about how to make X and, you know, how to make 300, how to make 400, 500. And the thing that we just said again and again was at this level, what's going on is it's just a key skill development to move slower. All right, here we go. I am mourning, or I'm mourning. So here we go. Give them a follow. They just joined. We're going to go Grancho over here. Clubs. Dojo Latino Americano. All right. Games. Nothing. So I think he just joined pretty recently. So we're hoping we're going to see next time we're going to see a little bit more stuff on the heat map and maybe some games. All right. These are the things that we would like to see. Represso. The famous Represso. He has graduated numerous times. I have a vague memory of Represso. And he says, I played in a casual 60-30 tournament at a local chess club. I found it more productive than playing online because people take OTB classical games seriously. Yes, sir. I noticed that I often don't know what to do in the middle game and get outplayed. My most recently annotated game illustrates this problem. Okay, we'll take a look. One of the things I just want to say about a player like Represso is, you know, he is advanced several cohorts, and then he just did this, I think, very commendable thing where, you know, you kind of put yourself, what I presume would be, in a new situation, playing in a club, you know, playing a longer game, playing with players who, you know, might be more experienced. So, very great thing that he did for his chess. Growth mindset, let's call it that. All right, so as you can see, Represso's been working at it, and he's getting close to graduating again, honestly. Also, actually, if we go back ratings, it would be, at some point, Represso, I want you to consider, if you get to play those OTB games more, to switch to that rating. No clubs, we got some games. We're going to hopefully find this latest one he's talking about. There we go, boom. This is the no name. This is his game he's talking about. Oh, we have times, look at this. And let's just say we're going up the ladder, and now we're seeing a game that was played by both players with great GM level time management skills. Okay, so very encouraging. And here we go. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. And now G6. I think this is okay. Good. Good move. Good move. Great. Great. E3. Good. H3, a little slow, but okay. Castles. Bishop E2. And now you spent 10 minutes here. This is your first big think. And I kind of like your move. Let's read what you write. Used another 10 minutes deciding between playing in the center, E7, E5, or on the queen side with B5. Yeah, and you also look knight D7, E5. I like your move a lot. And let me just say, this is some pretty deep stuff from my just sense of things. And what I mean by that is, on a superficial level, it looks like we've really pushed white around. And we're doing fine, but we're not doing as great as we might think because our queen on b6 is misplaced, because our knight on c6 isn't doing much. So it's actually very hard to find a plan here. And I think queen d8 is a very mature move because what it's saying is, oh, I need that. It's not actually well placed despite the fact of it being technically developed. So I will give you an exclam there. Exclam. Bishop h2, little slow. He should probably castle. b5, good. And now white starts to tickle here with b3. And you played knight a5, which doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Now, I think rook c8 is the most natural move. Yeah, rook c8 is the most natural move. All right, knight a5. Castles, and then you go back. A little weird. Reasonable. Rook fca. Okay. Queen b2. And now knight b7. So here it's kind of admitting like, oh, that knight on a5, he was kind of a chump. But in a way, I guess I want to commend you with knight b7 because you are recognizing that that guy is misplaced. g4. It's a very frisky move, and I think it's better than it might look. The old timers might not have liked the move g4. This guy actually thinks for 4.5 minutes on g4. By the way, it'd be good to know, you're playing this no-name, what his actual rating was. Because a lot of times you're playing, an OTB, you might be playing someone significantly higher. g4 has the effect of really messing with your bishop. And your move is technically a mistake, bishop d7. But it's important to see that on bishop e6, which I guess is our best move, you talk about a4 there. a4 is a possibility, but I would also be afraid of f4, intending f5. That would also make me nervous. Okay, so bishop d7, g5, good. Boom. Boom. And now you take on f1. I would be interested here in ef6. Yeah, I think that's an interesting move. Let's say knight f3. And then I'm interested in queen e6. And then I think I'm threatening queen g4. I think that might be forced. And now I'll take the thing. And here you have interesting play for your coconuts, right? Let's just put it with a rook maybe first. White should be better, but you're doing things. Bishop f1. Okay. Knight d7 probably. Now he takes. a4. I'm not 100% on a4. Let's talk about some basics. Black wants to open the rooks. Now maybe he does have a trick. All right, if he has a trick, then I can't say anything bad about this. But I have a feeling I'm still going to say something bad about this. Okay, time out. So again, you want to open lines for your rooks. We have a dynamic of two pieces versus the rook. You want to open those lines. a4 looks interesting, but what about that? With the big coconut opening here on queen c3. What's going on there? If we imagine, I don't know, AB here? It looks kind of unclear to me. right? I don't know what's happening. So, A6, you spent 2.5 minutes. He now finds a very impressive trap. We're going to give him props. It should be said that even on this move, I guess he could still do that with his trick that we're going to see in the game. So knight c4. And here you're going to resign pretty quickly. And maybe it is crispy critters, but let's just ponder for a second. Let's say I play knight d8. So if he just moves the knight anywhere, I'm going to take on c6 and, maybe I'm living to fight another day. Maybe I am much worse, but I'm fighting to live another day. And then on knight b6, it's complicated, but I was thinking, no, I guess knight b, no to bene. We don't really have this move because of this jerk face over here. So that's unfortunate. So my little move didn't work out. My little move didn't work out. By the way, I feel like this knight c4 is the mark of, I think you're playing somebody much higher rated. So I think a way to think about this game is you were fully in it here, even after the bishop d7 mistake. Because he gave you this oportunidad here with c takes b3. If you open those rooks, the minors, you might be able to fight. All right, well done, Represso. And now we got Gino. Loving the program so far, though most of my rating improvement has come from me just not playing any rapid for 2 years prior to signing up. Really happy with where I'm at regardless. All right, let's go take a look at Gino. Gino just started. We're going to give him a follow. 1036 from Lower Saxony. Great clubs. We got the German dojo, European dojo, games. Let's go my games. Oh, we don't have anything. So, Gino, we know what we need. We need you. You need you to log some games, bows. But you just got here. Very understandable. So hopefully we're going to see more. All right, let's take a look at where we're at. We still got a long ways to go. I'm going to give myself a quick little break, though, and I'll be right back.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he's got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
hack, and
bows.
he got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board. It's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless. He rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction. The status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 all accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22.
Here we go, Groucho. Gino says he does have one game. He's in the chat at 15:10. And right, we definitely want longer than 15:10 at this level. I believe it's 30:30 is the minimum that we want going on. Understandable, right? In fact, there's no level. There's no level where 15:10 is okay. 15:10 would be okay for what we call a blunder game. You're also now above 1,000 where the blunder games aren't even advised. The blunder games are just like 15-minute, maybe 15:10 games where you're just looking, where are me and my opponent hanging their coconuts? AC Secret's here all the time, dude. And he says, building a habit takes a lot of effort. I hope I can continue to do the work until I got the habit of following the program religiously. Good. Here we got AC Secret. Looks like they're going to be ready to graduate again. Look at that progress. You joined the dojo, Baus. And there we go. Gino, one thing I actually really want to stress, I always like to sell this because I think it's an amazing feature of the dojo, is if you go tournaments and you go round robins, okay, and let's say I go, I don't know, your cohort, which is this one. Sign up for this one, bud. Dang, look at that, 30-30. This thing would start in about 5 days. You got some real people here. There's Gino right there. Oh, he's right there. He's right there, buddy. Gino's already on it. Okay, so this is a public service announcement for other players who are interested in getting a good classical game. And actually, I just want to stress with these ones, this is the minimum time control. So if you wanted to play a longer time control, let's say Boris says, I got some time, we can play a little bit longer. Great. So that's just the minimum time control that we got there. And so Gino will have definitely a chance to get a really good series of games here. You can see here we got this one going. Look at all these. We got loads going on. Okay. Oh, I kind of blew it. We're going to go back to AC Secret. Boom. That was an inaccuracy. Wasn't a blunder. All right. So you can see he's been doing some tactics over here. AC Secret has. Asian Dojo. Tell us a little bit more where that exactly is. Games, my games. And here we got AC Secret playing pretty recently against the Sponge. Now the Sponge is dramatically higher rated than AC Secret. Let's go give a look. Here's our time graph. Yeah, both players moving mucho too quick. Game review. All right. Fine. Okay. Fine. Okay. D4 looks reasonable. Bishop D5, maybe. Though Bishop B7 looks fine for black. Now, what's the controversy of Bishop D5? You're moving a developed piece twice. Queen E8 looks poor to me. Good move. I like this move in general, too. Rook B8. And now a chess crime is committed with Bishop takes C6. Why is it a chess crime? Because you're giving away your beautiful bishop. Now, we understand why he did it, right? He did it because he's afraid that he's going to lose the pawn on D4. But we have interesting possibilities against the black king that we would like to pursue. So if it's just me, I would consider DE or the very aggressive pawn sack here with Queen H5 takes, and now maybe Knight D2 or Queen H6. I'm not sure which one. Because I just want to go mate him. I want to go looking for mate. Is it true? I don't know. We have to look. But this is a very dangerous position for black. The DE thing is the safer one. This, though, is just giving up your main advantage. Poor move. Now you freed the bishop. Now, to my mind, the queen C4 just looks wrong because the queen is going to need help on defending the king. And eventually, you're just going to lose a tempo to Knight D2. Totally strange. Knight D2. Wait a second. Before you say anything, Cry. Before you say anything, let's look at this B4 move. Yeah, he's saying he's going to trap the queen. Now, this is actually really nice from AC Secret here. So Queen C4 was wrong from a variety of strategical standpoints, but what AC Secret is seeing is that we're winning the queen. And B4 is very accurate because on Knight D2, maybe the guy gets out with Queen A4. B4, he's saying, no, you're done. Dang. Exclam AC Secret. Playing against some guy rated 2057. They should have moved a little slower on Queen C4, I'll tell you that. B4 exclam. I'm not even seeing anything the guy can do. Wow. Very nice move. Very nice move, B4. Oh, can I give you an exclam? Can I put something in there? Hold on. There. I feel like, isn't there a way for me to do a comment here? Double exclam. We'll put that quote in there. Double exclam. Bang. You can, actually, I'll show. If I go grad show back here, you see, I don't know if you can see it, but I got a little double exclam. Actually, here, you could see it in my game review. No, actually, it only shows it over there. So, anyways, I'm just trying to say, you can put in a comment here, and I gave him a double exclam comment, B4. That was, dude, that's, now let's just talk for a second. That's real skill. That has to do with visualization, seeing all the squares, seeing all the counterplay, and all of a sudden, cold shower. You can play that move. You can start beating GM sometimes, you know? Well done. Okay. That was great, dude. Let's continue. We have Ahmet. And let's see. Ahmet doesn't tell us anything. We're going to go over here. Ahmet, we're going to give him a follow. We're going to guess joined pretty recently. Probably made it and then tilted. Lost some rating after that. Clubs, nothing. Games, nothing. So Ahmet, we know what you need, right? You need some games. And you need some games. And you need to start logging some work. All right, next up we have V. Kalmari. And V. Kalmari says, slow games and analysis are paying off. I feel like I have improved a lot by getting my games reviewed by other dojo members and then going through their feedback carefully. I have noticed that sometimes it feels daunting to look at other people's opinions on my games. It's never fun to be called out for your mistakes, but if I do it anyway, it helps me massively. There's no way I would have learned all this from an engine review. Onwards and upwards. Great comment. And I definitely want to say from personal experience as a player who's tried to improve and also as a coach, it's very difficult to look at your games. Very difficult. And I would say the stronger you get, the harder it is, especially if you don't have the habit of looking at your games. You just feel like so annoyed, especially when some chump is telling you, you made a mistake. You get all funky about it. But that's where the real growth happens. And it's that process of feeling like kind of injured by some chump telling you, you should have played such and such, or cry when he's going to review your games and say, you lost a tempo here, son, or he's going to say, I'm going to say all kinds of nasty things. But if you're just open to it, you don't have to agree with the things I say, but if you're receptive to thinking about what people say, and then, of course, most importantly, when you're doing the annotation yourself, to really be thinking about it, that is a beautiful thing. All right, here we go. V. Kalmari. So, good progress. Graduated already twice. And flying up. Okay, clubs. All kinds of clubs. He's in Scandinavia. Okay, great. We got some games for the V. Kalmari. Loads of games. It's looking really good. And I can just see, optically, this is a good-looking annotation. We'll get into it, of course. Do we got a time graph? We do. So as you can see, V. Kalmari is playing a typical chump online, where they're not capable of thinking. And as you can see, maybe on move 20, his opponent went to the potty. Okay, over here. Maybe they went to a potty on move 20. I don't know, because the rest of the game, they're not thinking at all. That's right, Charles Hamilton. So I just want to say this experience of playing this chumps, very important, because you're going to see it again and again. This is what's going to happen. All right. So here we go. We're going to go game review. Fine. D6. And now you're in a little trouble because of knight g5. And what do we want? I mean, the basic question is, how about knight takes e4? All right, so now we're in a little drama, and we're going to lose a pawn here. Boom, boom, boom. Knight g5, mistake. Now, if white had thought about it for a second, maybe they wouldn't have made this mistake and played. All they got to do is take the bishop and then protect their coconut. Good move. And he says that black is better. Now, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But you did get your coconut back, and that's very important. d3, I think that's inaccurate. Either castles or d4 right away. One of those things. The knight isn't comfortable on e4 with the uncastled king anyway. You want to go back. Good move. And now nice move, castles. Queenside seems safer. Well, a nice move, yeah. Bishop e3. Bishop e7. You probably had other things, but I like that. You're just developing. h3. The guy's not thinking. Good move. Now, I want to stress something. One of the reasons h3 is not only a mistake because it's not developing their coconuts, but also because you could have popped him open here, popped his king open with g5, g4. So here, okay, okay. Now we need to play g5, b6. Now, I don't like this much because you're now doing a similar problem to h3, where you are allowing white to open you with a4, a5. So, for example, if we had waited, and let's say they play queen a4, maybe that's what you were scared of. Now we do b6, and it's a little bit harder, a lot harder for him to achieve a4, a5. Okay, so here we go, b6, queen a4. Plainly a mistake. Okay. If you wanted to, you could have got a5 in here because en passant gives you this business. You play cautiously, knight b7, queen a6, knight h5. I got issues. I got issues. I want you to be playing g5. He goes this way. Weird, not developing his stuff. Rook f7 feels a little slow to me. He needs to be thinking about a4, a5. It is a very frightening plan. Okay? Yeah, and what's going on here is both sides... this is where... this is where I think he went to the potty. Because you say he took 15 minutes on this move. I don't think he's thinking here. Because of the rest of the game, he's not spending any time. And he plays this move d4, which I don't know if it does anything. This is the move that scares the bejeezles out of me here. That's very frightening. Very frightening. And maybe what is, let me just say, I don't know, what you were talking about knight g7, just as an example. There's no knight a5 because we just get wasted, you know, and then it's gonna be mate. So that's the one that scares me. Now, do you have to resign after a4? I don't know. I just know that that's the one that I would want to analyze, to think about it. Okay, pop. Knight f6. Okay. You like bishop f6 better? Okay. I don't know what he's doing. You want to come at him, okay. Terrible move, bishop f6. He's not thinking. Now you go bishop g7. Now, I think if you had felt how painful a4, a5 might be, you probably would have played a move that's a little more dynamic than bishop g7. For example, maybe just taking and then playing knight c5 to get him out of there. Poor move, doesn't do anything. Now the knight is not defended. I think that's fine. You took it like a madman. Now, I don't know. Maybe. In general, it makes me a little nervous. But the reason we should be hopeful about your situation here is all your pieces are better. Notice what he did to his knight on g3. It's not part of the attack at all. Okay. Now queen d7. Fine. You could play bishop e5 too. Probably fine. Yeah. Yeah, he's not doing nothing. Good move. Oh, I like bishop c3. Oh, I like that too. Good move. We finally did it. It's time to start talking to this guy. Check. Not check. Queen g4. Good move. And now he just took his coconut and he cracked. Ah, great. And one of the things we want to say about this guy, Apalache, is Apalache, bro. You could have played so many better moves if you'd been thinking. Look at that time graph again. Do you guys think he was really thinking on move 20, whatever it was? No. That guy, he went to the body, dude. He wasn't thinking about this at all. All right. So that's what we want in the dojo. Great time management from Black. Great. And he got in a little trouble early with the time just because of that opening where he blundered the pawn. Okay. Good stuff. Let's go back to the grad show. We got Jimmy Lays. Jimmy Lays is graduating all the time. Jimmy Lays is just a graduator. Smoothed out since my last dip a month ago and have a 60% win ratio over the last 30 days just by focusing on not making mistakes. Really enjoying mastering time. Beautiful. That was a course I did on Chessable, using players in the dojo, their games. And basically a very simple concept where I've done the graduation show so many years, and what I've seen it right at this level where Jimmy Lays is and the next cohort is players aren't hanging stuff much anymore. They still do sometimes. They're not hanging stuff that much, but they're going to hang tempi all the time. So if what you want to get good at here to progress, let's say the next couple cohorts, is realize to yourself, oh, they're going to give me time. And then, of course, like mastering time is going to give you positions where you train yourself on these positions where you have more time. And sometimes it's a tactic, sometimes it's an improvement of the position, but you are just training yourself to get good at those positions where your opponent has given you tempi. All right, good stuff. Let's go, Jimmy Lays. Look at Jimmy Lays, dude. Jimmy Lays don't play. Jimmy Lays is not playing at all. So, his plans for 2025. He's getting ready to maybe play a little OTB. Look at this rating graph that Jimmy Lays has got, dude. This is what work will get you. Work will get it for you, son. Yes, sir. Okay, clubs. All right, we got all this going on with Jimmy Lays. Of course we have some games. And this is Huja. Actually, I think he might have different names here. So, do we got a time graph? Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord, Jimmy Lays. Ooh. Well, there it is, friends. The tail of the tape. The tail of the tape. Okay. Right. Queen c8. Obviously weird. Now, h3. You could do a lot of different things. I don't understand h3, though. c4, bishop f4. Those moves make more sense to me. Because the bishop was a victim on g4. And why did we just unvictimize that bishop? Okay, I like your intentions here. Poor move. 15 seconds. Yeah. Now, let's just say this is a dangerous position. And, yeah, here we want to think a little bit. You talked about queen d3. Interesting. Now, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I also think h5 might be clever. So if here we go here, it's pretty hot. So, oh, no, look at this. Oh, no, we're the ones getting hosed. See, this position is complicated. Okay. Now, of course, your default move could just be E3. You don't have to be a genius here. All right, so this is a blunder, and now we're in big trouble. Rook H4. That seems poor. It's not just giving up. Oh, this is horrendous. So it's not just giving up the exchange. It's freeing this pin. We were pinned. It was a terrible situation. And, you know, it's liberating now our rook. Good move. I like queen f3 better, just to trade everything down, or queen h3 if you didn't want the double pawns. Simple chess. What happened? This guy's not thinking. That's what's happening. Good move. What is the guy doing? Not developing. Now, you could have thought about queen d8. Queen d8 is definitely a winning position. Now, queen c3 is also a winning position. I like queen d8 better. It's definitely crushing. But, you know, we can't complain too much because this is also just winning. Okay. Notice, is he threatening knight d5? No, because he's got this problem. So, unnecessary move. Poor, because it's weakening. I don't understand a6. Thank you very much. Completely winning position. Now, look at this. What's going on? How come this game continues here? How come this game continues? All right, we're gonna go a little faster here, just because this, you know, taking forever. Oh, and this guy, you know, if you're gonna, why wouldn't you just resign? You know, it's time to resign, but. Oh, Jimmy needs a little work on his mating skills, but here we go. All right, Jimmy lays. That was pretty good, buddy. And we want to say as well that you do get a pass when we look at your time graph, okay? Because I think right around that time you're just winning completely, and I get it. All right, I get it. All right, so well done. We'll go back, graduate show, and bang. Sabrinus T. Let's see what's going on with Sabrinus. Maybe we're going to guess just joined. We're going to give him a follow. 1248. Clubs. Weekly calculation. Okay. Games. Games. I think Sabrinus T just joined. So welcome to the dojo, Sabrinus. Hopefully we'll see some games and some stuff on your heat map next time around. So, Chinmoy. Chinmoy is up next. Done some work. Software developer who turns to chess to unwind. We'll give that a follow. Join Chess Dojo. Great. Pretty recent join. No, I take it back. He's been here for a while, but only recently started doing the heat map. Looks like they're not in the right cohort, though, right? This says 1400. Yeah, they didn't actually make it. Right. Okay. So, well, let's see. They got up to 1870. Maybe they made it and they fell back down. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt there. Clubs, coders, Sicilian sparring. All this stuff is going on. Games. Games. Loads of games. Well done. Now, let's take a look. Uh-oh. This one isn't annotated. Let's see if this is a pattern here. Oh, not annotated. So, Chinmoy. These games that you put in, you got to annotate them, bud. It doesn't make any sense just to put them in here. I guess you could put them in to see your time management score. Look at this, actually. Look at that. Some GM levels time management, though. Even though we don't got any annotations here. We got the GM level time management. Dang. Gukesh would love to be able to use it like this, buddy. Gukesh is frothing. He's like, how come I can't do that? Next up, we got Jaden. All right. Jaden has graduated numerous times. And what's going on with Jaden? A little hard to say. A little bit, I'm going to guess, probably does more work than what's on this heat map. Beautiful progress here with the rating. Jaden tell us he's adult improver. We don't know where he's at. Does he got some games? No games. So Jaden, buddy, you're making great progress. Tell us how you're doing it, because I have a feeling you're not logging all your stuff. And we want to see some games from you as well. All right, a sip of water is required from the old-time GM. JD says, the starting rating was when I made my account. My rating is currently at its true skill-ish. Okay, let's go look. So true skill-ish is around 1530. Give them a follow. Not too much being done here. Short-term, top 1,000 in lead chess classical. I'd be interested to know what that rating is. And then achieve an OTB rating above 2,000. And I will say that's a long road from where you are. So that's definitely a longer-term quest. Team Australia. Okay. So I'm going to have a feeling we're going to get the Down Under Dojo. Alex, I just have a request. Maybe you're in Sydney. I don't know. Maybe you're in Darwin. Get a Sydney or a Darwin club. Games. Boom. We got a game. Boom. This is JD versus the Grizzly. All right. Time. Boom. His opponent had epic time management skills. Epic skills. Okay. So, game review. Fine. 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 Interesting move. Good. And now Queen C1 with the idea of Bishop H6. It's a very interesting position. To my mind, the big question is, how are we going to deal with Knight E4? How are we going to deal with Knight E4? Okay, so Queen C1, and now we blunder Knight H4. But it's important to see about Knight H4 is, okay, so here's the issue. Now, maybe your intention was to play F3 and you didn't realize that the queen was whacking the knight. But notice that, like, even if now you whack the knight, this knight wouldn't have any place to go back to. Okay. So Knight E4, by the way, we really want to put a move that you think is better. I think Bishop H6 is interesting. I'm sure Rook E1 is okay. Yada, yada, right? Okay. So he misses E5. Moving too fast. Well, actually, I mean, I don't want to say they're moving too fast. Queen F3, good. Rook C8, reasonable. And now this just does not look correctamundo. And it is a very interesting trap that follows here. So I need to think about this one. Wow, this is really intense. So let's look at the trap that could have happened here. Check to the queen. Queen F5, Knight H4. Check to the queen. G4. Knight D4. Now, by the way, we could just take the queen and you could win my queen, but you would have lost a piece. So we don't actually have to play queen D2. You don't have to be that fancy. But that is a very nice trick. I have a feeling that might be a computer evaluation. Knight E4, we really want to be suspicious of, though, because you are freeing all of his stuff. So unless we see some kind of trick, we don't want to do it. We'd rather play maybe Rook E1 or something like that. But actually, you're gonna have to move your queen because, well, maybe you don't. Like Knight D4, I don't think it's a threat yet. Okay, so here we go. Knight E4, FE. Bishop G5 would have been amazing. And now Knight E5, Queen H4. I would think black is better here. That's my take, because the bishop's so strong. I didn't like that. And you talk about F6, okay. B6, slow. Check the miserable king. And You say the engine dislikes this move, but the intentions were good. His F-pawn cannot advance without capture, and I have the 7 semi-open file. Well, let me just say, I don't know exactly why the engine doesn't like your move, but I will say I don't like your move because I feel you have good chances here of playing against your opponent's king. And when we play queen g3, that's over. Okay? So either f3 immediately, I kind of like that move, or king h2. I like f3 best, I guess. You can still open the f file. Still open the f file, right? Let's get that party started. And then we will be on the attack. Now black, I guess black is better. It's going to be very hard to actually do anything against that f7 square. Okay, natural enough. Okay. Okay. I like what he's doing. Rook b7. Looks a little slow to me, but okay. That looks tricky. Yeah, so here's the just general problem here is the dude has the c file, and those passed pawns are looking good. That's why I like that b5, b4 plan. We definitely didn't want to allow that. Good move. d4. Well, he definitely wanted to consider king e7 instead of this. Interesting stuff here, rook f4. So what black realizes now is that white has what looks like a draw if we play d2. So let's go ahead and play d2, and we'll just check it before we wreck it. King h7. You know, it's very dangerous. Rook g8's a problem, but actually maybe we go here first. So there's no rook c1 check. If e3, the question is this a draw? Probably. It's not necessarily over, though. See what I'm saying? This is the analysis I would want to have. All right, f5. He still needed to think about d2. No, this is crispy critters now. A little bit of randomness here. A little bit of randomness. Uh-oh. So, again, we need... you were definitely guilty. Let's go over here. I want to stress there was a lot of decisions there where you're just moving way too fast. Now, we've seen this a lot at the dojo. People run out of gas, and then they just they either run out of gas or they have trouble thinking in the endgame. What happens in the endgame? You got to calculate. There's some calculation to be done, son. Like, this is actually kind of a difficult momentito for both sides because you need to make sure there's no pressure against g3. And, you know, some time to think. And when we just look at the last sequence of moves, you haven't been thinking at all. This is move 28. You just, you stopped thinking entirely. Very typical, but something that can be fixed. And when you say g4 double question mark, let's go back, you need to tell us what you should have done. I think rook a3, for example, is needed. Okay, so g4, now we're in a little trouble. And then they just make a draw. Hard-fought draw, cannot complain with a draw against a 2800. Okay. All right. Good. Good draw. You could have won that one, though. Could have won. All right. Next up, we got Alan. Let's go over here. Grad show. As with my last graduation, the training program is awesome. The admin feels useless. I don't know what that means. The admin feels useless. Especially having to log other training stuff. I guess he means the logging feels useless. I guess. I'm not sure. Let's go take a look at what Alan's going on here. So, joined in 23, sporadically marked their business. Maybe they're just like, it feels useless to mark it. It's very useful. It's time to mark some stuff, Bows. It's time to mark some stuff. He's got a FIDE rating. This is the first FIDE rating we've seen today. As we go up, hopefully we'll see both more OTB ratings and some FIDE ratings. So, 1,500. We are going to do a new calculation soon, by the way. The reason he has such a high rating but is in a lower normalized rating is because with the FIDE boost that they did, and we had to, and it kind of messed things up, and we're going to try to do a new rating recalibration in the near future. Okay, do we got some clubs, Alan? No. Do we got some games? We got loads. So this is Alan. Looks like he's playing some OTB. This one, it's been a while since this happened. Kind of soft, let's call them soft annotations. No times given. Over here. Oh, I actually reviewed this ages ago. Yeah, I reviewed this in March. So, Alan, I encourage you strongly to, I know maybe it feels useless doing what you're calling the admin, log in the work. I encourage you to do it. You will see the benefits. You'll be able to see what you did. But most importantly, you did great when you first got here with putting in some games. But we need some more games. Okay. Boom. Next up, we have Akil. Akil says, haven't used Chess Dojo program in some time and need to graduate to actual cohort level. All right. So, give Akil a follow. He's also got a FIDE rating, pretty high, 1,600. Actually, I should take it back. I want to say it is 1,750, but it normalizes 1,650. See my previous comment. We got some games, recent, boom. We have a time graph. Look at that. So this is a 30-20 game, and I just, we got to say this is not, it's not long enough. It's not long enough. Yeah. All right, I'm going to look at this game, but in general, once you get this high, I believe 45-45 is the minimum time control. Yeah, part of your whole progress here will be, well, actually, let's just look if this other one is a similar thing here. This is a different one. Yeah, let's do this one. This one's the right time control. So as you can see, our boy Akio did pretty good with his time, and he's playing a chump. I believe this is OTB, where actually not 100%. I'm just guessing. Well, it looks like an OTB time control, but he's playing somebody who wasn't really thinking. Good moves. Okay. Fine. Little funky. Theirs is a common idea for very advanced players. I have a feeling this black player is not such an advanced player. Good, simple chess. Fine. B5. Okay, king B1. I like your moves in general. Rook C8. And now you think a good bit and play H3. H3 makes me very nervous because I'm wondering, could black have played H4? Let's say the default plan in this position would definitely be to play knight D5 because you would have ideas of knight A5 later, and you're just kind of asking him some important questions. H3, B4, this looks like a blunder to me. Could black play H4? Stymieing your whole business, maybe playing knight H5 someday. Why is it a blunder? Because you want to play knight D5, and now he's got to deal with this tempo lempo. Good move. He gives you his good bishop and plays A5. Okay. And now you play the ambitious G4. Good. Good move. That was why you played h3. Good move. Okay. So I think you're doing great. The knight on c1, we can tell ourselves, is actually a hero in the sense that it's going to help really defend our king. Still, of course, a very complicated position. I don't know why I think you're playing a kid, but the kid played h4. It's slow. It's slow. And now you played f4, which doesn't quite feel right because it feels like you might be giving him the e5 square. Let's read what you write about f4. You say, not sure about this move. Spent a little over 8 minutes. And given the 90-30 with no second time control, 10 minutes seems like the most I can commit to a move. Great. Well put. One of the great things about going over your games, you understand things like that. One nice thing to say maybe is just be like, well, at a certain point, you just got to move. You just got to go. Okay. So we should talk about other moves that you had at your disposal. Right? One really obvious question is, could we just taken this thing? Looks like a pawn to me. Now, is it scary to take a pawn? It is. But, what is black going to do? If they castle, we still play our g5 business. Okay, so f4, queen a5. I don't know. Maybe queen a5. And then you thought again with queen d3. One of the things about f4 is I'm not really sure what it does. I'm not really sure what we're trying to do. Okay. So queen d3, I'm not sure what we're doing with queen d3. And he finally castled, and you're shocked. You're shocked. I think maybe you should be shocked because the advantage of queen d3 was at least you prevented knight e4, and now if he gets body slammed, that's no good. He plays instantly knight e8, which is positional suicide, and you say, thank you very much. Good move. Good move. Bishop d8, queen e4. So you said I tunnel visioned on the pawn. Okay, this is important. So he's talking about winning this pawn. Really here and in the game, you need to start calculating. Rook g1 comes to mind. Rook g1 looks very powerful. f6 looks interesting. So even if you didn't see those ideas in the game, we want to analyze them here. You give him the good piece here. And then you do this. This looks like, that looks suicidal. Right? But we're not done yet. He's got knight f6, queen e1. Very interesting position. He plays bishop e3, which I don't know. Maybe he could play e4. Okay, maybe e4. g2, he does this. And you said, all right, you want to help me open up my business? I'll go. f6, that looks very soft to me. Okay. I'm not sure I understand any of these moves. One thing, I'm looking at the time graph on the side, and I can tell you that both players aren't thinking here, hardly. And he, of course, has more time, and he should be thinking. I just want to say this position's obviously complicated, and both sides are flailing here a little bit. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Can we take it? Very fancy. I don't know. Does it work? This guy might want to think next time. This kid might want to think some next time. Check to the miserable king. Oh, it's still a hot position, isn't it? King b2. Okay. Very hot position. I think king b2, you're playing this way too fast. Rook d7 looks like the question is you would play rook b7 next. I don't understand that move. Maybe. Good. Good. This is exactly what black did not want to allow, which is you getting the light square blockade. King e4. He's losing his mind. King h4, good move. Bishop h6. Rook b3. Bishop e3. He offered a draw. Okay. He has pushed his luck here. He needed to really have thought about e4 at an earlier point. I feel it's a little unfair that we only have a draw here. I feel like this chump, you know, they pushed their luck, but I guess we don't have to do anything else at this momentito. Can we also go back a second? Queen c4, you got to be winning this position, right? You got to be winning this position. So let's say, for example, you talk about rook db3. Oh, and then David talked about this on the stream. Another real basic one is if you win the pawn, is this a winning endgame? It looks, maybe you're going to win the a2 pawn. Still a lot of questions in the air. But yeah, this is where you need to do some more analysis. Okay, Akio, well done. Let's see. We'll hit this as marked, reviewed. We got 4 left, 4 people. First, we got Brendan. He likes the endgame algorithms. And Brendan hasn't done too much, at least in terms of writing stuff down. 1599. Minnesota Dojo. We got 6 people in Bloomington, Minnesota. Okay. I'm assuming Bloomington is a suburb of Minneapolis, St. Paul. All right. We got some games, Brendan. Nothing. Brendan, you know what you need, buddy. You know what you need. You've been here since 23. You need to start logging at bows. Putting some games in bows. All right. Next up, we have Kapuchstein. Kapuchstein says, after a lot of sweat work, I had a tournament where I went 5.5 out of 7 and got 5th place of 100. First time winning a small prize. Gained 50 German rating points, so it's time to graduate. I probably will finish the books I'm still doing before doing new tasks. I also want to include more sparring in my training. Thanks to the dojo for giving me the right structure. Beautiful. Now let's just observe, he did a lot of work here. This is what it takes when you start getting up this high. Also, you can see he played some OTB. This is what we need here. Now notice, we're just getting stronger players now. Notice also these stronger players putting in some work. Kapuchstein is doing some work. Started playing chess seriously after watching the Queen's Gambit. Amazing. Former powerlifter, I remember this. I like seeing numbers go up. So my long-term goal is to reach 2,000 OTB. Oh, that's cool, man. I love the phrase number go up. Number go up. Yeah. Dude, you're 32 years old. You're not a former power lifter. You should be lifting all your whole life, whether you're trying to make the number go up real bad or not. You know. All right, 1736. I love this guy. Okay, so clubs. We got the German. We got the typical stuff. Software developer. Kapuchstein, if you want to work for us, bud, we might have some jobs for you. You know, we need some dev people. We got some games. We at least have Thomas against Kapuchstein. This is fairly recent. Let's look at his game with Richard G. So, okay. So he messed up his score sheet. That's why we don't have times. That's what he's saying. But we're going to go over here, and we'll just take a look. C6 is a little weird. And D4, he mentions. I actually have a line in my course. I have an aggressive repertoire for white course that goes boom, 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 and if C6, D4, so a very similar idea. What's the point? If you take You're not molesting my queen, and I'm busting your center open. And you could still play d4 there. Yeah. d5. Now, do I think black is better here? No. No, I don't think black is better. However, this is in general a mistake, ed5. Because you are opening the knight's c6 square. So bishop b3 for sure. And let's say de4, which you didn't like too much. Knight e4. Oh, wait a second. I see bishop b3, and you're talking about boom, boom, boom. I think you're doing fine here. I mean, even here, just you don't have to be a genius. You just take the pawn. And why are you better? Because your development is a little bit better. That's it. You got a nice bishop. It's a little bit better for white. So, ed5 was the mistake. Reasonable. What did we get here? Dina! Thank you for rating with a huge party. A huge party. I had an intuition. I'm going to play this tournament, U.S. Masters in Charlotte. And I have a feeling, I don't know why, it might not be true, but I have a feeling Dina's going to be there. She might even be living in Charlotte or something. I don't know. Anyways, I try to play those Charlotte tournaments every once in a while. I'm going to try to be, I will be there. Thanksgiving. If you're just joining us, this is the Dojo training program. We're going over games that people have annotated, people who have graduated from one cohort to the next. In this case, I believe we're already up pretty high. So Kaputstein's up there around 1600 cohort. Here we go. Bishop b4. He's down a little bit of time. a3. Black loses time. Good move. Knight f3. Bishop g4. We should consider h3. He goes castles. Castles. We should still consider h3. Boom. And he does a good annotation here where he says, look, my problem here on h3 is bishop f3, knight d4 is a little bit annoying. We should expect, however, that black is probably doing better anyway here. So, for example, bishop c6, if bc6, h3, bishop f3, queen f3. He says that white is better here. I don't think so. You know, because this is a great bishop and this knight is doing nothing. So I still like black here. h3, black misses their chance. g4. And black blunders now with d4. Now, Kaputstein wrote in that his score sheet was messed up. Otherwise, we would have the time stamps here. And this would be definitely a big moment to think about. Could we see, was this person thinking or not? So g4 looks like, I guess it's a good move. Let's just say something obvious. That is a nolo puedo because we'll just take it. And on bishop g6, he's saying, you know what? I'm just going to do this and say clear advantage. That's probably true. Probably true that it's a clear advantage. d4 mistake. Knight e4. It's just positionally nasty too because we're getting this great square. You blocked the bishop, and we're just threatening everything now. Simple chess. We're winning. Good move. Easy chess. Easy chess. Easy chess. Check to the miserable king. Easy chess. Good. Okay. It was a little weird, but you're doing fine. Yeah, hit him on the light squares. Oh my God, it got a little fancy. Got a little fancy. Oh no, things got weird. King h7, look at this. Things got a little weird. Queen f6. Snip. King. Now what's the body count? Whew. Man, look at this whole mess. d4, king d3, goes back. And now bishop d5 is the move he gives. Good annotation. So we clearly made our lives much harder than they needed to be. And this is where we would want some time, the timestamps to really see it. Because maybe this is just time pressure. it's not just that we're missing bishop d5, bishop e4, which looks mating, but we're activating the black bishop is what really worries us here. Check. And he goes to c4. He likes king c3, but I think you're not going to see king c3 unless you see the idea of getting at this king. All right. I'm not sure I understand that move. Okay. Now some things happen. Okay. All right, we're still in business. I like king d3 there. Okay, I like that. I like all this. Let's start moving them coconuts. Let's start moving them coconuts. Okay, now what we want to say about this move, rook d5, is just in general, we would rather not trade our rook off. Okay, we don't want to trade our rook. So a basic move would, you talked about king a4. This is another basic move if you're in time pressure. Okay, threaten rook f3 and bishop, and prevent the rook from playing rook e3, because that's what I'm really worried about. King e5. Okay. Now, do we have bishop e1 is a very frisky move, and b6 happens. They take. It would be great to know if we could get some timestamps. a6. Look at this. This is a great annotation. Check to the miserable king. Snip. Bishop f2. King c4. I analyzed this position for 2 hours, and I think I finally understood it. Key endgame position. I like this annotation a lot, he said. Look at this thing. Without the h-pawn, this is a theoretical draw. I looked it up in 100 endgames. You must know. Black would control a7 g1 and not move the king if possible. Winning with the h-pawn isn't very easy because my bishop has the wrong color. But there is a way. So he shows bishop c5. Good. We probably want to talk about king e5 there. But it's not going to matter because your king is going to get over there. Look at this guy. Well, now it's winning. Very nice annotation. Very nice annotation. Yeah, beautiful. Now, by the way, I just want to stress, this is a great analysis where this person is going to really be able to dial in some endgame knowledge. So, for example, at first glance, a lot of players might say, oh, this position is a draw because black will get their king back. However, it's not clear that the king will get back. Let's look. Boom, right? There it is, not getting back. So, very well done. I love this analysis. This is actually one of the things, like, once we do this kind of work, you will get this again. You will get something like this again. And you will have on the defender side too. You will have some kind of very similar position. I thought that was beautiful. Let's look at what happened in the game. So he tried to massage him. And then eventually his opponent did blunder this bad boy. Uh-oh. King d7, d6, nice move. Oh, it was white that blundered. Oh no, black blundered and then white blundered. d6, thank you very much. Thank you for playing. Goodbye. So, Kaputstein, well earned. We should expect to have some mistakes in positions like that. That was a great analysis. That is the path to improvement. So I'm very happy with that annotation. In fact, let's put a little comment in here. We'll just go over here and we'll say A takes B. We'll get a little comment. We'll say great annotation. Excellent. You can't see that. That's just on the side. But, bang, let's continue. We got two more. First up is Nimzo. He's done a lot of work. Nimzo says, dojo structure helped me keep going. Almost 500 hours of training, roughly 100 classical games I wouldn't have played at a notebook filled with over 1,000 Polgar made into answers. Now, Polgar's, look at this. Nimzo's doing the work. He's doing the work. Nice. Okay. Discovered tournament chess in 2003 by chance after a co-work happened to be a former world junior champion. Oh, I'd be interested to know who that is. We're going to follow. Now, you can see Nimzo is going for it. Going for it. It's very hard. It's the higher up you get, the harder it is to graduate. And he is using the Elite Chess Classical. Now, we just want to stress where you are here now in the 2,000 plus category, Nimzo. We want to stress that you should really be thinking about using this FIDE rating now. And in fact, Dojo Protocol, this might hurt you. This might cause you to hate the dojo. But Dojo Protocol says that 2,000 plus players have to have an OTB rating as their preference business. Now, let me just explain that a little bit. The reason for that is once you're playing at this, there's a couple of reasons. The main one is the pool of players you're going to get at whether it's ChessCom or Elite Chess at this 2,000 plus cohort. So here it's 2,300 Elite Chess. The cheaters, it's extraordinary. It's just extraordinary. It'll make you lose your mind. So that's the biggest thing. But also, just to get those longer games in, very important. Now, what could be argued now is that our round-robin tournaments, let's actually go look, Let's go look at our round-robin tournaments just at the 2,000 level and just see what we got. See, so right here, we don't actually have a beautiful situation for the 2,000 plus. Now, I think what I'm trying to say is, if the dojo got to a point where the 2,000 plus round robins were there, they're there for the lower cohorts, but we're not there for the 2,000, then maybe the dojo could relax its stringent, stuff about saying you got to have an OTB rating 2,000 plus. Okay, clubs. ICCF 50 plus. Oh, this guy's all over the place. Look at this. I like it. I'm in a couple of those clubs myself. We got games. He's an international correspondence IM. Now, I have to admit, I don't exactly know what that means, but that is a beautiful thing. So let's see. We want to see this stone against Mikhail Antipov. He's playing a GM, Baus. So, he's playing a GM. He is playing for a spot in the U.S. Championship. This is the U.S. Open 2025. Friend of the dojo, by the way, Josh Friedel almost won that tournament. You're playing a real customer here, George Stone. All right, do we got a time graph? We do. Now, as you can see, this guy where he's playing, he thinks you're a chump and he's not even going to be thinking. He's like, I'm going to waste this guy. Well, maybe he's going to experience some welcome to the dojo moments here. We're going to find out. All right. So, fine. Fine. Here. Let's just say the obvious, George. So you're going to play the Najdorf. There's so many different ways that white can play against you. Just play chess. Just play chess. Knight BD7 comes to mind. Bishop B7 can't be wrong. Can't be wrong. And now G4, very frisky. Now, even if you're not aware of it, I still think, it's okay. Rook G1, okay. Bishop D7, fine. Bishop E3. I think this is all okay. I have some questions I want to ask later, but let's just look at what you did. Rook D4, very interesting. Let's look at Bishop D4. Because I have a feeling you probably expected bishop d4. g5, knight d7, bishop g7. This would be my big concern. And you say I didn't love this either. Yeah, that looks poor for us. Looks poor. Okay, so he thought, maybe this is one of the few times the guy thought, rook d4. Good move. And now he comes up with this idea. I'm not sure I understand queen h3, just immediately off the top of my head. We could have done other things, of course. And you castled. It was about this point that I dawned on me that I'm playing board 1 of the US Open on a DGT board, and the game is probably being broadcast on thousands of sites. What if I don't last 20 moves? What if I get smashed? All right, so white's intention is to play f4. I believe in your move, castles. f4. And now you play queen a5. Right, and you started, having a little bit of clock trouble here. And if I was white, by the way, I would feel a little bummed out. I'd be like, nah, I wanted more than this. I thought my position might have been worth more. So queen a5, it looks kind of like, I don't know what we're doing. Big question, I think, is king b1. And then how do you answer f5? That's kind of my basic questions. For example, king b8. If f5, the bummer for white is we have knight e5. And if they take twice, we have knight f3. Now, the position is still complicated, but I just want to stress this, I think, is the key variation we want to consider, both in the analysis and during the game. We got to play king b8. You got to get the c8 square, get off that diagonal, all that stuff. All right, king b1, king b8, bishop e2. So notice that kind of threatens f5 because now our knight, when it comes to e5, will not have knight f3. g6, I don't like it. Actually, h6 you played. I like it even less. And you talked about d5. D5 would be a positional concession, right? So we have to say, even if Stockfish thinks white's only slightly better, that it's not really what we're interested in. Okay, now, are we in trouble, though? I think we are. Notice your queen on a5. I don't know if it really wants to be there. One bummer is, I think we always want to be ready to meet f5 with knight e5. That's our little drama that we'd like. And now when the queen lands on e6, it's going to be a tempo to the bishop. But if we get the knight to e5, that's a key survival thing that we have going for ourselves. All right, this looks poor. Now our light squares are destroyed. And I guess we're lost now. Yeah. Simple and strong moves. He doesn't care about losing the exchange. And we're toast. Okay. Really well done, George. Congratulations to get to board 1. You're playing the GM over there. And one of the things you should appreciate is even though you didn't know this line that this guy played against you, you basically made reasonable intuitive decisions all the way up to queen a5, right? All the way up to queen a5. Yeah. Let me just look like maybe there's better moves than bishop d7. I don't know. But I might want to consider knight d4, then bishop d7 over, because in the game, I think he should have played bishop d4 here. I didn't understand why you wouldn't play bishop d4, because g5 and you got all the whole business. In any case, you see what I'm saying. You played reasonable intuitive moves and you got yourself a fine game in this position. I don't know what's happening, but there's no. You're going to play the Najdorf. This is what it. This is what it's going to be, my friend. This is what it is. Okay, well done. So that was George Stone. George Stone, as of course, is crushing the dojo. I encourage him very much to do an OTB rating. And we got one more from D Immortal. Let's see what's going on. D Immortal, though, I don't know if he's got anything. He is here. He's got a nice USCF rating. No clubs, no games. So, a little weird. Sometimes we see this. Players maybe been here a while. He's been here since 24, but just hasn't done the work yet. And I want to stress, the higher people get, the harder it is for them to review their games. It is painful psychologically. That is why, in my experience, they aren't doing it. Okay, my friends, that is it for me. However, before we go, let's just go take a quick look at yeoldchess.com and look at the watch events. We just want to look, boom, what's going on Sinquefield Cup. Now, it tells me the evaluations immediately. If I was going to, follow this, I wouldn't want to see the evals. But just for a quick glance, we'll say like this Sevian Gukesh game looks amazing. The engine says white's better, but it's clearly such a mess. It's hard to really say that with confidence. The Nodirbek game looks amazing. That one, if I'm just looking at it optically, I would say black is fine. The engine has some reason to think that Nodirbek is better. Maybe there might be some move you got to find right away in that case. The Fabi game, to me, white looks better because the bishop on b7 is so poor. It's a little bit of a bummer for Fabi that so many pieces have been traded off. That was a big battle. Then we got MVL, Levon. Engine says white's much better. That one, French structure, hard for me to judge. The engine's basically saying this F5 thing is going to come crack you someday. And then we got the Duda. This one says that he likes white a little bit better. I don't know. I guess I would take white just because that knight on f6 is so poor. So, okay. That one I might even be willing to, I would say white's better than the small advantage than the computer's giving it, but the computer, that thing's a genius. All right, one thing I got to do, actually, I got to log my work from yesterday. I played a big tournament, and I haven't been able to do too much. Oh, my God, you didn't log anything the last couple of days, buddy. This is poor. All right, so we got to log some stuff here. So we're going to go 2 days ago. So that's the 18th. And I haven't been able to do too much, but I did do some. So we're going to update that. And then I'm going to update. Now we got the 19th. I might do something later, but I haven't done anything really today. So update. You can see, oh, buddy, this is the next week. So you see, I played that tournament and I got my goal of 15 hours easily, but now, we're in a new week. I need to do some other work. All right, my friends, we're going to raid somebody. Probably the STL Chess Club. Let's just see who we got here. So raid STL Chess Club. Say hi to those fools for me. Coast, where Kostya lives, STL Chess Club. By the way, our guys are playing the Maya Open. We got Kostya there. We got Blood Queen playing. We got Matt Chess playing. Not Matt Chess, but Matt, also known as Houseline. So we got a bunch of players playing that Maya tournament, a lot of other streamers. So that's pretty cool. Gino, thank you. And I think David Bruce might be doing some coverage of that coming up here soon, too.